Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker. I'm an author, producer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, and host of That Girl the Podcast. Each week, I bring on inspiring people and stories to help you become that girl or that guy in your life. That Girl the Podcast is based on the romantic comedy That Girl a Novel, which is now available as a podcast to listen to. Listen to each chapter about finding yourself and adulting in LA. Find That Girl a Novel everywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can also find it on Amazon to buy the Kindle or paperback of. For more, find us at thatgirlthepodcast.com and follow us on Instagram at thatgirlthepodcast and our Patreon page. Welcome, Michelle Griffin, to That Girl the Podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. Every podcast, I like to let people explain what they do and who they are in brief, because I always feel like people can do a better job than I can ever can.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. No, it's so great to be here and to connect. And That Girl podcast is one of my favorites. So I'm excited to share my story and hopefully inspire others to not fall into the mistakes I made. And one of the things I am now, and I'll lead up to why I am now, is I'm a personal brand strategist. I have a background in marketing PR. I was in event marketing for years in corporate. I just celebrated a year of my entrepreneurship. But the reason I wanted to, and why I'm doing what I am, is because 5 years before I left my job in marketing, PR, and events, I was dreaming, you should say, of leaving my job and doing my own thing. But I stayed small and I stayed stuck. And one of the things was I kind of just didn't have anyone to talk to. And most importantly, I just didn't know how I wanted to show up in the world, right? Yeah. And I wasn't showing up in the world, most importantly. I'm doing a great job building other people's brands. But I find this a lot with the people I work with now. We don't get out there and become visible because we don't know the message we want to share with us. We get stuck in our own brains and our heads. And so we just circle around and get frustrated. Yeah. And I kind of did that too. It's so easy to help others, right? But never ourselves. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's what I do now. I help people with their branding and messaging. And then we do I take it to the next stage of marketing, and then PR or visibility is what I like to call it. PR sounds kind of corporate and stuffy, but there's so many ways to be visible now. And that's what I work on. So that's what I am. I help people, mostly service-based entrepreneurs, professionals, get their brand, their message out into the world so they can share it with people they need to help.
Awesome. So did you have a moment where you were like, I have got to move on. Like, I've got to go do my own thing. Did that ever happen for you?
Oh yeah, like all the time. Because I also was marketing or doing, consulting on the side, mostly just word of mouth, friends and things, as my job entailed. But I just saw that there was such a need out there, and I just came alive helping people, not so much companies, just get their message out, because I just kept seeing there's so many people who have amazing services, but they just need that little bit of help and encouragement. Right. And so I saw that all the time. It would just light me up, right? And then, and I was not growing as much in my normal job and my corporate job as I wanted to, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about helping others. And I wanted to see that direct face-to-face. And so that's when it just kind of hit me. And so those 5 years that I was dreaming, I did do one thing, and that was continuously get credentials and courses. You name it, I'd probably take it on the course. But those are only so good. But here's the thing. Right. We can learn so much, but if we're not taking action, what good is it, right? So, so I knew that I had to step out and out of that comfort zone, like most of the people in your listeners, right? Getting out of that comfort zone and taking action is where it happens. And that's a big step. But once you do it, it's like, we can do this, right? We can do it. Take that first step.
Yes, action is so incredibly big. Otherwise, it's just a dream. It's just a fantasy. And a lot of people have a hard time knowing when to take action. I think there's a stigma that people think like, oh, I have to quit my job. I have to quit everything. And then I can be the thing I want to be. And then sometimes they do that. And it's like, oh my goodness, it's really overwhelming. And a lot of people go back to their old life because it's just too much to handle. What kind of advice would you give people who are wanting to take action, but they don't know when or how to do it?
Oh yeah, that's good advice because, in my 5 years of being stuck, I mean, I kind of knew the advice, but my main thing was I didn't have anyone to talk to who share my entrepreneurial dreams, right? Our friends kind of don't know it. Our family, they support us, but they kind of just don't get it. I was in courses and communities, but it wasn't until I found some people who were a step ahead of me, really, that were wanting, they weren't selling me coaching. We were just, networked through LinkedIn, and they kind of just showed me the way. And most of the thing, it's like we know inside of us what to do, but we just need that encouragement and that confidence. So that's what I do for people in doing their messaging. First, we start with a confidence and mindset. It's like, yes, you have it. You've got this. You just need that one person. So and that sounds all good, but then you need to know, okay, how do I show up in the world? Because I find this a common thread. People don't know why they want to do what they want to do, or they know what they want to do, but they just can't articulate it. So it's crystal clear for them, crystal clear for people to buy. And that's the main thing. When people aren't connecting to you, it's usually your message is off, or it's not clearly defined, or perhaps you're not very confident in your message because it's not clearly defined, or your offers aren't clearly defined, or you're not just resonating with the audience. So it's kind of a trifecta of your message, your inner message, your outer message, and your audience. They need to know you're helping them. So I would, get a loose plan. You don't have to be perfect. And that was one thing that I waited too long to do. You don't need permission, and you don't need to make it perfect to start. Just start small. And
totally.
That's the thing, because we get out thinking we're going to have these, 6-figure businesses right away. And some of us do, but not on the first day. Right. You have to do one day at a time.
Yes.
And no one really cares how beautiful your website is. I mean, yes, you want to make a good impression. I'm all for that, personal branding, but they're going to listen to the message first. I can't tell you how many, and you probably too, you see websites that, they probably weren't $1 million, but they're making money because they're helping someone solve a need. And that's what it is.
Right.
So that's what I recommend first.
Okay. So I love the whole idea of, number one, having clarity on what you want to do or sell or be. What if someone's just not sure how to find that clarity? And yet they feel that they want to do something new, but they're just really not sure in which direction to start. Do you have advice on how to sort of go about searching out, your golden cup, essentially?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. You can like what you want. I mean, you can have passion, but it's got to meet a need. So it's the Japanese term of ikigai, what the world needs, what you're passionate about, and what people will pay you for. And that's the thing. We can I might like, knitting, which I'm not crafty, but I don't know if I'll have people.
Terrible.
I don't even know why I would use that. But anyway, I can have a hobby, but it could be a hobby that satisfies me, but it needs to be a business, not a hobby. So one of the things, a lot of my clients will come to me and they have too many ideas. I'm like this too. I have too many ideas. I can do this and that. Well, here's the one thing that lights you up and that that we can go and test. We can do a small bite-sized offer on what people would want. Just kind of put it out there. If you get people biting, then we can build that out. Now, the thing about it is when people have too many ideas, the easiest way to get rid of what you don't like is write down what you absolutely don't want to do. Now, this whole year I realized that the hard way. I was going and doing, people come to me, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And why not? You think, I'll just test it out. Well, the minute I realized, it's also good to sometimes not, test it out, but don't stay stuck in that. Do 1 or 2 times. If your inner thing is like, I don't want to do this, then stop. There is something that you will like and what people pay you for. You just got to match that up. But mostly go with what you don't like.
I have this, this thought that came up a month or so ago where I was thinking to myself, I was like, is it hard or is it just uncomfortable? And I think that's a really good question to ask yourself when you are doing something that maybe you're kind of unclear on. Do I want to do this? Or just even aspects of the thing that you want to do, right? And so, when it's hard, it feels really hard. It feels like an uphill climb. But when it's uncomfortable, it's maybe it's hard because there's a learning curve, right? But it's not like, wow, I can't stand this. Like this makes me feel bad inside. That's when it's hard and you shouldn't be going down that like little path, even if it's just a little splinter in what you're doing.
Exactly.
And just don't do it. I think it is so simple. It's just like, you don't have to do, like you said, you don't have to do everything.
No, you don't. And you shouldn't. And especially, just starting out, what I tell my clients is just be known for one thing. And that's kind of what I was trying to do, too many things. I say one thing and I do another. We all do that, but just do the one thing. But at the same time, I knew what I was doing, some aspects of my job. I would put it off. And I didn't like it. Now, other things, I go right to it. And yeah, we all have a moment to get into our work. But here's the thing. When you realize you forgot to eat your lunch or it's 3 hours later and the time just flows by, that's your flow moment. That's what you need to be doing more of. And as long as people want to pay you for it, of course, go for it. Now, the stuff that you look at on the clock or you'll switch back to looking at social media 10 times because you don't want to do it, that's a sign too. So just listen to your heart and your head. I mean, seriously, they know the answers before we do. So
I so agree with that. It's so important to just really pay attention, especially when, I really like to talk to like new entrepreneurs or new business owners. Just really pay attention to what you're good at too, and really try to focus on that. And, it's difficult when you're first starting a new business. There's not very much, money to go around and you can't just be like hiring everybody. But if you can just hire someone to, like in my case, like I'm tech savvy, but there's a limit to it. I know that limit. And so, it's like, I need to hire someone for like the back end of the website and all the socials and all that stuff, because I do not do well with that. And I don't care to learn it at this point. I would rather focus on what I'm good at and my strengths, and then have someone who's really good at that, do that.
Yep.
And like, pay a little. Sometimes it's just like you get what you pay for. And also, you'll just burn yourself out doing absolutely everything.
Yes, exactly. Our time is money. And so we have to use it wisely. If you're just starting out and don't have a lot of funds, realize those things, like you said, that burn you out, because I was doing that too. I was working later. I woke up one day and go, why am I doing it all? So I'm now looking for some VA help because I just can't. I have great ideas. I can't do it all in the day, because self-care is so important if we want to continue this entrepreneurial path, right?
Absolutely.
So I agree with you.
What kind of self-care do you do that helps kind of, even if it's just small things throughout the day, to sort of center yourself?
Yeah, well, I get a good night's sleep and I wake up early because I'm a morning person. So I try to get, good night's sleep for me, exercise or go for a walk every morning. And then I need to be better at this, but I do try to, at the top of the hour, just, take a stretch break or like a breathing break or something, because I'll notice I get tight and rigid. So that's important too. And then just check in with people. Like I'll have a list of a couple times, or make a list in a day. Who do I need to check in with? Either a text or a quick call, because connecting to others is just so important. We get so busy, we forget. We kind of live in our own little world, which I never want to live in completely, So that's what I do. That's what I try to do.
Yeah. I think that's so important too, to remember to connect to others, especially now because we are so isolated. It's important to make a phone call. Also to just let your brain kind of rest. Because if you are in just go mode, you're just not aware of what time it is. Yep. And did you eat lunch? And it's important to talk to other people. And I know I've been really diligent about doing this now, is that my weekends are truly just weekends. Like I don't want to work on the weekends. I work enough during the week. And my weekends are for me to remember that I'm a human and that I do human things like laundry and go to brunch, or, just stuff that is just fun for fun's sake. And I think with a lot of, entrepreneurs and business owners, first of all, we most likely are in love with what we do, and we love working. So that's great. I love when people are like, what do you like to do? I'm like, I like to work. That's what I like to do. I like to work. And they think that's crazy, but I'm like, but it's true. So I'm trying more. And I think this is just important for anyone who is, a workaholic or who's just really involved in their business, to just spend time with people, call them on the phone, see what they're doing, kind of get reacquainted back into the world, once a day. And especially on the weekends, like I feel like I'm having mini vacations, and I'm not even doing that much. Like nothing glamorous is happening on my weekends, but I'm like, gosh, I feel so refreshed. I'm ready to like come back on Monday and like do it all over again.
That is great. I aspire to be you. I notice, I'm a year into my entrepreneurial journey and I'm trying to do all the things and I love what I do. That's the thing. You hit it right. we leave our jobs because we want to do something we love to help others, right? And so, yes, I'm staying up. I mean, I'm working after dinner to do the things because I love it. But then I realize, oops, I might need to be paying more attention to my family, or,
Right.
So, and, and they're very supportive of me. But here's the thing, we lose sight when we're in our zone. So we have to check out for others and for ourselves, or we just can't sustain this. But, and the beauty of it is we do love it. So, right. So time does fly.
Right. Absolutely. There was something that was happening to me, and I was really starting to catch myself too, is that friends would be like, hey, do you want to go to lunch like on a weekday? And I was like,
how do we say no?
Like I literally would always say no. And then I had to like force myself to start saying yes, because it's just an hour or so. Like the world is not going to collapse if you go to lunch for an hour or so, and it really kind of grounds you and brings you back to life. So, I mean, that's my advice that I've been really trying to take to heart recently.
Yes, I agree. I did the same thing with brunch. I didn't really want to go and interrupt what I was doing, but I felt so rejuvenated, and it was just so great to see my friends, right? So we need more people in our lives. So I agree.
Absolutely. What are some roadblocks that you've come across with your entrepreneurial journey that you've been able to push past, or things that you're like, wow, I really learned that lesson?
Well, I think trying to do what we said earlier, not doing what I want to do, or not doing what I'm meant to do, or thinking I need to do something. So I tested it out. And so I realize now it's okay not to do that. I'm reworking some offerings now because I'm changing the things I'm doing. I'm creating some offers. So it's okay not to do that. So one of the things was I was getting, you can change things up. Nothing is set in stone, right? Our websites can be changed, our offerings, whatever. So, and then another thing is showing up. Like, here's the thing. I had some roadblocks, like wanting to stand out online. I teach people how to do it. That's my background, but I'm kind of private. Like, I'm extroverted in real life, but private online. Yeah. So I had to get past that as roadblocks. And here's how I did it.
Please tell me, because that's huge.
Yeah. Okay. So the funny thing is, so many people are like this, right? Well, come January 1st, I'm the kind of person like either do it or not. So yes, I was scared to do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it every single day. So my audience is on LinkedIn. And so I started something called the 365 Challenge, which is attempt, and so far I'm doing it every day, to get out there and post a video or poll or content, do something every day.
Yeah.
And I started a community around it because I started posting, and all these people said, oh my goodness, I started a hashtag, what it is, and they started following it. Then I started a community. So there's other people like that. So join with others when you find a roadblock and something you don't want to do. Put yourself out of the comfort zone. We can't grow unless we get out of our comfort zones, right?
Right.
And then join like-minded people who you need that accountability and motivation to support you. Entrepreneurship is a lonely thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we need that group. And there's so many groups out there, but we have to find our people. And usually it's the same thing, like we're all trying to do the same thing together. That makes it like we're in the journey, running the race together. So that was probably the biggest roadblock, not doing it's okay not to do to do the things you want and say no to the things you don't. And it is okay to say, forget you, fear, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. And, it's the best thing. I'll tell you, just showing up the last 50 days on LinkedIn has started to bring me all my leads on LinkedIn and my clients, and just getting people who are, like-minded and meeting incredible people all over the world. So
I love that.
I highly recommend it. And if LinkedIn isn't your platform, find that community, that group, whatever your platform is, and they're out there. There's people just like you at the same moment, running the same time, the same lane as you.
That is such great advice, because it is lonely to be an entrepreneur. And even though so many people now are trying it out or trying to have a side hustle or whatnot, if you're really trying to start a business, it's all of your life and it's very lonely, and you do isolate because you're just in work mode. Yeah. So this is interesting. I've had a couple of other coaches have the same feeling, where we feel, you so hit it on the head. We're extroverted in our work life, but we're introverted on social media. And that is so true. And this whole Probably since my book launch in November, maybe starting October, I was way more out there on social media than I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel so uncomfortable. So I've kind of found like the way that I can do it that doesn't make me cringe, which is nice. I love to put like motivational videos, clips of the podcast, and like quotes, and then I write a post about it. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is personally, but also with other coaches, they're like, I feel like I'm always posting so much. It's almost like annoying to people.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice on that? Or is there any advice really? Or is it just the way it is?
Yeah, well, there's two schools of thought there. And I'm going to speak from the LinkedIn world. There's people for the algorithm, they're like, you should be out there every day. And I think that too. I'm like, are people going to get sick of me? But for the algorithm and most platforms, not everyone sees your content every day, know?
Right. That's so
show it to you.
Remember.
Yeah. And then, so not everyone's going to see you. And here's the thing. And I used to think that too. Gosh, I see her all the time. But then here's the thing. At the end of the day, they are seeing you. And if you're out there giving free advice and helping people, you might be seeing people, but you're showing up as you, authentically helping people, not look how great my lifestyle is and how great I am, so it's all in the way you present, the context, and, and the way you present. So that's just the way it is. I mean, I used to think that too, but then everyone else was doing it. So I'm like, I'm going to show up, even though I don't like it. It does get comfortable showing up every day. So I feel like if I fall off the streak, algorithm won't like you, but also I'm got the momentum going now, or it's like dropping your exercise routine. Once you drop off, it's so hard to get back on. So anyway, just show up and help and others. And, it's better than the other way. So
I agree with that. Because, and also just like what you said, you're growing this community on LinkedIn, and I love when I, have new people who are like, oh my gosh, this is exactly right. This is exactly how it is. And it's so nice. And I don't know any of these people. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And it's nice to know, because so it is a good validation of like, it is important to just keep showing up and putting the content out there, and doing it from a genuine, authentic place, because, everyone can see right through it if you're coming from an inauthentic place. And we all see the ads or the whatever, and we're just like, but if you're just like, no, I just want to keep sharing stuff with you guys. I mean, who's going to get mad at you for that? Really? Like,
exactly.
Another inspirational quote.
I know. Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to be judged when you're helping others. And, what are they doing showing up on, social media every single day too. So that means they must not have enough, but when you're genuine, and people love the vulnerability now, like, everyone's sick of the same messages and stuff, but when you just show up as you and just realize I'm putting it all out there, life's too short to stay hidden and stay small. And, and when I say stay small, I am not trying to be a Hollywood celebrity. I'm just finding my little niche in the world to help the people I'm meant to help. We can't help everyone. But there are people out there who need our help. So we can't stay hidden from that. For that reason
I love
alone.
that. Michelle, thank you so much. This was such a good talk. You're so lovely. And
thank
you gave some really good advice. I think that it's really going to help a lot of people out there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I love your message, and just to help people and new entrepreneurs in specialty, because we need the help. There's so many ways out there, but we've got to find our people, right? When we find our people and we're all going the same way, we can support one another. Because I truly believe we can't grow our entrepreneur journeys without the people we're meant to help and the people who are meant to help us along. So I'm so happy to have been here. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. And quickly, how can people find you?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm always on LinkedIn, and I'm on Clubhouse too. I actually have a weekly personal branding Clubhouse, but my website is michellegriffinmedia.com, where you can find all my links and everything there. And I would love to connect with you. I am on Instagram and Twitter too, but mostly you'll find me on LinkedIn. So
perfect.
Hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at That Girl the Podcast.